Welcome to the Tech Collective News Brief, where Scott and I talk about one piece of tech news, why it matters to the industry, and why you should care. How's it going, Scott?
It's going well.
Are you ready to jump into our story today?
I am ready. So today is one of those days where, sometimes we talk about esoteric stuff and tech and the industry. This is something pretty much everybody listening can relate to. It's that Netflix is raising their prices again. And it's frustrating, I know, because I look at Netflix as sort of a benchmark of I think it should just cost this much. For me, it's $15. And I'm like three different price hikes behind because it's not $15 anymore. So let's get into more of like what's behind this in the industry. Like, first of all, why is this happening?
So, the main reason this happens is the operation cost for streaming is constantly going up, right? They're building more data centers. They're trying to invest more into original content. One of their movies from last year, which was called K-pop Demon Hunters, won a whole bunch of awards and actually also won an Oscar. So they're raising how much they're investing into original content by $2 billion. But the problem is exactly like you said. Like it feels like every year it's going up and every year, it feels like you're getting a little bit less out of these platforms. Even though they're putting out all this original content, Netflix has a huge reputation of leaving customers behind after a season or two of a show that people really love because they didn't feel like enough people were watching it. So it's like a double-edged sword on the way, Netflix investing into their original content, into their servers, and, what the customer is paying at the end of the day to have access to all this content. One thing I'll point out is that we're talking about every single tier is going up for Netflix, not just their high-end tier, which is usually what they've been doing. And one of the other things Netflix did, which really hurt their reputation, is they were very big on password sharing. Anyone can use a Netflix account within the family. And now they've also gone down the route of saying no more sharing passwords. You have to use individual passwords. So if you've got kids in college or you're sharing passwords with other people. Now you have to sign up for additional accounts. So this feels like, as an end user and a consumer, I feel like I'm getting squeezed every which way. And when I wrote about this on the website for CE Critic, I don't know if you saw this, Scott, but now if you want to get all the original content from all the major players, we're talking Netflix, Amazon Prime, Apple TV, right, Disney Plus, all of these guys, you're going to pay almost $1,750 a year just to get all the original content. And that is a lot of money.
Yeah, I mean, I think the ironic thing for me is that I do recognize that it takes money to invest in creating shows and certainly the server costs and the infrastructure and all that. And there's more content, it feels like, than there's ever been. Like there's so much, but it seems almost like when you have like a closet full of clothes, like, oh, I have nothing to wear. Like I get that feeling every time I go onto Netflix. It's like, wow, there's so much stuff. Oh, there's nothing to watch. Like I feel like this is the most stuff they've ever had and the least I feel drawn to it. And I don't know if that's just I'm getting older, my maturity as a customer is has peaked, or like I know my kids still watch a bunch of things and they still discover shows and all that, but it's not like I don't like to go blockbustering. I don't like to just go in and peruse titles and stuff. I'd rather just know like, oh, that's on Disney Plus, and I go in. That's on Prime, I go in. I'm not the kind of person who's gonna, like, shop around a lot of times and say, "Oh, what do you feel like watching?" So, it's
Yeah.
it's frustrating to me because I feel like, personally, I need it less. As a head of a household, I still need it, and obviously, as somebody who watches content as part of their job to test TVs and streaming and all that, like, I do need it, but as a consumer, I don't feel like I need it, and I think that's the issue, and that's just too much money to pay. Like, it's great if they have all of the stuff I love and all of the shows, and Disney's great and Netflix has their stuff, but especially between, like, Netflix and Prime, there's a lot of, like, "Oh, I don't know, I guess is that a Netflix thing? Is that a Prime thing? Is that an Apple TV thing?" Like, I know it's on one of them, And so I don't know if it's like a brand identity or what the deal is, but it just seems like the kind of thing that could come back to bite them.
Yeah, I see where you're going with this. I mean, if we didn't have kids, I probably would have gotten rid of most of these services. My wife and I like to binge anyway, so if we wanted to watch a show, sign up for 1 month, binge the shows we wanted to, and then cancel. But with little kids, it becomes a little bit more challenging. The other thing that I believe is happening, and I have no evidence for this, this is just what I'm thinking, is they want to push more and more people towards their ad tier because their ad tier is not very expensive. It's about $9 a month, before taxes. So that's much more manageable for people and what people are more used to. I think more people are being pushed towards the ad side because Netflix can make more revenue this way. If you're at the super tier 25 bucks a month and you're or well actually now it's 27 bucks a month and you're getting your 4K HDR price and you're getting all your devices, $27 a month is the maximum they can make off of you for watching their content. Versus the ad tier where if you're paying $9, $10 a month, they'll just make more money off of the advertising. What do you think about the advertising angle there, Scott?
Well, it's funny because I don't think of it on in the day to day, but I am on that top tier, so it's nice to know that Netflix is making a ton of money off of me, which I have to do because I need to be watching things in Atmos and 4K and all that. Um, my issue with the top tier is I'm gonna need some flexibility. Like if I'm paying $27 a month, I'm going to need you to get all the way off my back about how many different devices. I mean, yeah, if it's 20, that seems like a lot, but I actually do have a lot of devices. And so I'd like to be in that room to decide like what is a family? Like each of my kids, if they have like a phone and a tablet, and then there are, let's say, two TVs, and then at my house, I have some number of devices, like it quickly gets to 10 devices, like without breaking a sweat. So I'm curious about that. On the ad side, I don't have ads on Netflix. I have ads on Hulu and HBO Max. And I do kind of hesitate. It's like ultimately what trumps is like if you're into a particular show, if you want to watch Curb Your Enthusiasm, then you're going on to HBO Max. And if you want to watch Family Guy, then you're going on to Hulu. And whatever the show is that you happen to be binging, you're kind of stuck. It's the interesting thing is that while this is going on, there's certain movies that we go back and forth. I have to explain to the kids like, well, sometimes a movie is on Netflix and sometimes it's on Prime. And so I have this app that tells me where the thing is that we want to watch. Um, but when I think about going on to one of the services that is ad supported, I feel less like because ultimately what it comes down to is it's annoying, but it's my time. It actually takes longer to watch those shows. Whereas, if I'm watching a half-hour show and it takes me 23 minutes and I'm just probably takes me 20 minutes or 22 minutes with if you get rid of the credits, like people who binge, like that's an important thing. You have to factor your time in. And I don't want to be paying $750 to anybody per year, but my time is worth more than that. And I don't want to be just throwing it away in ads.
These are all really good points, Scott. And that's it for the Tech Collective news brief of the day. Thanks again for watching, everyone. If you found this helpful or insightful, please subscribe, hit that like button, hit that notification bell so you can stay up to date on what's happening in the world of tech.
And be sure to comment below. Let us know, like, what are your thoughts about Netflix specifically? Which tier are you in? Would you rather save money and watch ads, or would you rather go higher and ideally not be bothered by Netflix? Or are you ready to ditch Netflix and go somewhere else, or have you already done that?